The Niners might lose more games than we think. And that's what I'm predicting today. The 49ers 2024 NFL record. So go ahead, leave your comment down below if you agree with me. If you disagree, if I'm out of my mind, whatever, leave it down in the comments. While you're down there, go ahead and like the video if you like it. Subscribe if you haven't. We're on the way to our first 1,000 subscribers. We want you guys to be a part of it. I'm Devin, the other guy Zane, and this is Buffet Sports. Let's get into the video.
Yeah, okay, good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. Dropping heat like every season. Underdog like Willie Beeman. Classic like Dom singing. Blasting like bombs ringing.
Do we want to go straight into the predictions?
Yeah, we can go into the predictions. So, we'll do Niners. We're gonna do Niners again. I have some revisions I need to make. So,
Yeah, you started. I don't know if you're going to make them better or worse, but listening to it last night, it was just like it felt like you were giving them a win for every single person. So I don't know if you're going to make it better. I'm excited to find out if it's better or worse than what you did last night.
so starting off week one, they play the Jets at home.
Mhm.
And we don't know what we're gonna get. And let me preface this going into these predictions. This, I'm assuming Brandon Ayuk is gone come week
Yeah.
one, but obviously Trent Williams is there. So
Yeah.
Jets week one, we don't know what we're gonna get from Aaron Rodgers. This is Monday Night Football. I'm going to say this is a win for the Niners just because their defense, the defensive matchup is going to be great, but it's going to be Aaron Rodgers' first game back, and the Niners are just have more chemistry. There's more consistency there. So week one win for the Niners. In week two, they head to Minnesota to play the Vikings. This is 10 a.m. on a Sunday.
Ooh.
So early game, part of that early game slot, 11 o'clock my time. This is going to be a win for the Niners. This is a sneaky spot for me. I feel like Vikings might pop out here just for no reason and make this sort of an interesting game down the stretch, have some sort of weird comeback in like the third quarter or something and make the game semi-interesting, but ultimately win for the Niners in week two. Heading into week three, they go to Los Angeles to play the Rams. And this is an in-division game. It's early year. Rams hopefully will be healthy early year, but it's still the Niners. They're going to start the year off 3-0.
3-0. All right.
3-0. Heading into week four, they've got the Patriots. We don't need to talk about it any more than that. 4-0. Heading into week five, they play the Cardinals. I talked about the Cardinals last week. I don't think they're good enough to beat the Niners. So this is 5-0 heading into week
starting
6.
off very similar from last night.
Heading into week 6, they play the Seahawks in Seattle. This is Thursday night football. Oddly enough, this is a weird Thursday night football game.
Well, it's because it's like a historic rivalry. Well, not historic, but
yeah,
the Colin Kaepernick, Russell Wilson kind of kicked off a rivalry, Seahawks 49ers type thing.
yeah. So you're gonna hate this, but it's 6-0 going into week 7.
Yeah, I can see that one.
Seattle's just not good enough in any way to make this an interesting game. And this is where things turn on. You talked about it in your Chiefs predictions, and that's who they're playing at home in week 7. First real test to me to this point. They've had cakewalk games up to this point, but they played the Chiefs. And as you said in your prediction of the Chiefs, this is where they're going to turn it on. I'm going to give this game to the Chiefs. There's just something mentally, I think, for every quarterback and every team in the NFL outside of Joe Burrow, that there's just something mentally, especially losing to them in the Super Bowl just months prior, that he's got a little bit better receivers. The defense is a little bit younger. I'm going to give this game to the Chiefs. So the Niners are 6-1 heading into week 8, playing the Cowboys. This game, I think, for some people probably is close. I don't think it's that close for the simple fact that the Cowboys still at this point won't have a run game. And I think it'll be
Well,
sort
I
of
mean,
close in the first
Ezekiel
half.
Elliott's back in Dallas, you know.
Rico Dowdle. It'll be close in the first half. I think that Dallas has enough firepower to keep in the passing game to keep things interesting for the first half. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, coming out in the second half, the Niners will separate here. So I'm going to give this game to the Niners too.
Yeah, you know how Nick Bosa plays against certain QBs.
7-1 heading into week 9. This is a bye. They lose, of
Of
course.
course.
And then week 10, they head to Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers. Nice warm game early on a Sunday, coming off the bye, playing Baker and Mike Evans. They just paid their safety. I don't see the Bucks having anywhere near enough firepower to deal with a Niners team that's just hot in general
The
throughout the
Bucks
year.
defense is pretty stacked though.
I just don't think it's enough.
They are
I think
very
the
old.
Niners are just better overall.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give this game to the Niners too. Heading into week 11, they play the Seahawks again,
Hmm.
in division game later in the year. I've said this and I'm going to keep saying it. The Seahawks are going to be trying out quarterbacks post week, probably maybe at this point, but definitely by week 12, they're going to be trying just seeing what they've got in
Yeah.
different guys. And Gino could end up missing a couple games too if he's hurt. I don't think they're going to be pushing for the playoffs, so it won't really matter. Week 11, this is a win for the Niners, 9-1 heading into week 12. They play the Packers in Lambeau.
Uh-huh.
Jordan Love, Jair Alexander. What's their wait? No, he's gone. Who's their
Josh
number
Jacobs,
one right now? Josh Jacobs, but who's their number one receiver? Why can't I think of his name? Jalen Reed.
Jalen
Jalen
Reed,
Reed, in
Romeo Dobbs.
Lambeau, Romeo Dobbs. This is a November game on a Sunday, 1 o'clock time slot. It's starting to get nasty in Lambeau. That's
Yeah.
when that's when Lambeau starts to have their advantage. I'm going to give this game to the Packers. We saw what they have the capability to do in the playoffs against the Niners
Yeah.
last year. We thought that they were going to pull this win out. We thought we were going to see them in an NFC championship game. I think it's completely plausible. And I haven't looked at the Packers record, or their schedule, but this is going to be a big test for them later in the year to see what they're made of for the postseason. I think they get the job done, beat the Niners, and hand them their second loss on
Yeah, I like
the
that.
year. So, week 13, they are heading to Buffalo now. And these are back to back, probably their toughest games of the year. They're playing Buffalo week 13 in Buffalo, another nasty, cold game. This is Sunday Night Football. All right.
Hmm.
In December 1st. It's a win for the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen is on his tear right now, on his revenge tour without Stephon, showing that he is one of the most elite quarterbacks. He is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he should be revered like one. So I'm going to give this to the Bills here, handing the Niners their third loss on the year. They head in week 14 back home to play the Chicago Bears. Sunday, 1 o'clock game, regularly scheduled. They're going to do away with the Bears. The Bears have a good defense, but Caleb has been going through it. A
Hmm.
lot of controversy throughout the year. They're better than the Bears. They're better overall. They're just a better unit than the Bears. I'm going to give this game to the Niners, 10-3 heading into week 15. They play the Rams. This is another in division game. Only difference here, I'm hoping Rams are healthy late year.
Yeah.
They're again going to be trying to make a push for the playoffs. I think
Oh
they'll come
yeah.
up short. I'm going to give this game to the Rams,
I like that. The only
week
problem
15.
is Aaron Donald's not there anymore, so we don't know how their defense is going to be. But I do like how the Rams play at the end of the year when they are healthy. They always turn it on at the end of the year, so I can see it happen.
Yeah, I can see it. And this is just going to be, I think this will just come down to who's got more balls, Matthew Stafford or Brock Purdy. And Matt Stafford's a gunslinger. And if you give him the ball with 2 minutes to go, I I would
He's
take
going
him
to throw a
over
lot of
Purdy.
balls.
I would take him over Purdy in a 2-minute drill. So I'm gonna give this one to the Rams here, late season, 10-4, heading into week 16. They head to Miami, nice and warm, little switch up from what they've been dealing with these last couple weeks. They're in Miami. It's December, so it's not going to be so hot. It'll be warm though. I'm expecting Tua probably to be retiring from the league at this point with his next
Okay.
concussion.
All right.
So,
No, they're making helmets for that. They're making helmets with big pillows in the back here. He could get a prototype for all we know.
he could. I think the Niners beat the Dolphins here late down the stretch is when the Dolphins kind of turn into the Cowboys and let things slip. And if they're in any sort of pressure situation down the stretch, Tua is not built for it, in my
Yeah,
opinion. So this
Tyreek
is a win for
injury
the
problems
Niners.
as well. He got hurt last year.
Yeah, could be. So I'm going to give this one to the Niners too. Week 17, they play the Lions at home. Detroit is cooking. They're making a statement. They're finishing the year out strong. You said boom yesterday
Oh
for them
yeah.
to make the Super Bowl. I'm right there with you. They're my NFC Super Bowl pick.
Yeah.
So they're going to beat the Niners in a close game. Dan Campbell's not going to go for it on a crucial fourth down, and they're going to win this game.
He learned
So
his
I'm going to
lesson.
go Lions win here.
Yeah, and when it comes to
And
star power, I've said it before, but not when we were recording, is that when it comes to star powers, the Lions look basically like the 49ers, but just younger, just a younger team in general.
yeah, just a younger team, and I think and especially this year, there's no questions about the hierarchy that I've
Yeah,
talked about, right? There's no grumbling with Brandon Ayuk and Deebo. It's Amon-Ra and then everybody else,
yeah.
right? And then the run game. So I'm gonna give this win to the Lions. They are 11-5 heading into week 18, playing the Cardinals in Arizona. To be determined when this game is going to be played, but I have the Cardinals losing to the Niners last game of the year, so I'm going to go the same way here. The Niners will pull this one out, ending the year 12-5, which then plays into my idea that the Lions are the number one seed in the NFC. They've got the bye. The Cardinals are, based on my prediction last week, 10-7. They're not that far behind the Niners, but obviously there's a large skill gap in
Yeah.
terms of who they're playing and what the games look like. So definitely NFC championship for the Niners. If they don't make it, it's not a successful season. But 12-5, worse record than last year. Will we see a CMC drop off? Who knows? But that's where we're going. So there it is. I think the Niners are going to have some issues this year. These predictions, of course, are based on the idea that Brandon Ayuk is gone come week 1, but I could be wrong. Leave your comment down below if you disagree with me. Maybe you agree with me. Spread love, spread hate, whatever you want to do. While you're down there, like the video if you like it, subscribe if you haven't. We're on our way to our first 1,000 subscribers. We're more than halfway there, and we want you guys to be a part of it. Again, I'm Devin. The other guy is Zane, and this is Buffet Sports. It's all you can eat. Ciao.